Now let's move to the next session, that is a panel discussion session. The panel discussion session is again going to be moderated by Dr. Deepak Kumar Sahu. Dr. Deepak is associated with the CIOs and the VAR fraternity very well. Mr. Deepak is going to very briefly introduce the distinguished panelists and then take over the discussion. Over to you, Mr. Deepak.
Let's start today's discussion. So welcome all to the panel discussion session on the accelerating your business transformation strategy. So when you think about the topic, so what comes to my mind, the word transformation gets thrown around a lot these days, but it can have different meanings for different individuals and companies. In the world of unprecedented disruption and marketing turbulence, transformation today revolves around the need to generate new value, to unlock new opportunities, to drive new growth, to deliver new efficiencies. I would say the pandemic has accelerated every organization's digital transformation needs. An effective business transformation means your organization can survive and thrive as you pursue new innovation, drive opportunities that emerge to create additional value. This may mean unlocking the potential of employees, harnessing intellectual property and proprietary technology for additional purposes, for becoming more efficient to maximize the company's potential. Today, leaders are prepared to continuously evolve through transformation because the business and technology landscapes in which they operate are continuously evolving. Leaders are working hard to embed agility, innovation, and a disruptive mindset into every transformation initiative. So let me introduce the panelists, starting with Mrs. Preeti Kanwar, CIO and CISO and CDO of NEC India. And we have Dr. Rajeev Papneja, Chief Growth Officer and Technology Evangelist, ESDS Software Solutions Private Limited. Welcome, Rajeev. Dr. Sushil Kumar Meher, CIO, Department of Computer Facility, AIIMS, New Delhi. Mr. Vijay Sethi, Chairman, Advisory Board, MentorKart. And Mr. Alok Sharma, Country Manager Channels, India and SAARC, Autodesk. So welcome you all to the panel discussion session. To start with, I'll start with Preeti. The role of the CIO is evolving from technology expert to business strategist. What is your take on it, Preeti?
So I totally agree, Deepak, on this. The way the role of CIOs, CISOs, and digital officers have changed in the past 2 years, that is really amazing. So the target what CIOs had to run the operations, to run the data center and all those things. And now in addition to that, we have the target to run the business while our workforce is working from home. So it's a very different kind of target. I'm not sure about others, but NEC being the Japanese organization, we were not this much equipped to work from home. It was like this, that once in a while, if you are okay to work from home, you can, but we were not that much equipped to work from home. Within a very short span of time, we had to move our complete workforce in order to make sure that they work from home. So the expectation is that business should continue in all the situation, whether a person is working from home or anywhere. And now the new trend is coming in our organization. What we are going to do is workation, that person can work from anywhere around the world. It's not like this that you are only supposed to work from home. You can work from anywhere. So IT is expected to note down or list down that what all hotels or accommodations we can approve of, how internet connectivity is going to be there. So this is a very different kind of experience for me, which I never did in the past. Yes, I'm supposed to take care of what kind of connectivities and what OEMs, what backups we have within our office. But now my role is being expanded to look at these hotels as well. I've been asked to look at Leh and Ladakh as well, that go and see that whether Leh Ladakh is equipped for our workforce or not. So it's a very interesting role what we have to take up. And not only from infrastructure availability point of view, we have to take care of all the security aspects as well. And I think you would agree with this, that managing security within the office premises is very, very simple. You have very standard protocols, you know what to do. But when you have to manage security, when person is working remote, when person is working offline, person is working from home, then you have to take care of a lot of different aspects. In addition to this, the digitalization journey or the expectation to enable everything online, that is also a very different kind of expectation what is coming. So I will not take too much of time. I think when you'll talk about digitalization, then I'll talk about these things. But yes, these are the few examples where role of CIO is changing a lot. And CIOs are contributing, I'm seeing a lot into the business, where they are helping business to make sure how they can operate. Business is coming with different problems, where CIOs are providing these solutions to them to make sure that they are able to continue, whether those are networking solutions, those are infrastructure scalability solutions, availability solutions, those are your security solutions. All these kind of solutions we have been providing to make sure that business can continue.
Yes, we'll come back to you to understand how you manage the 4 portfolio at a time: CIO, CTO, CISO, and CDO. Okay, we'll come later on. So going forward, we want to understand from Dr. Sushil on his perception.
AIIMS New Delhi, it works in different way as compared to the other organizations. It is a healthcare service provider, as well as doing the research and providing the education to the higher level medical educations. So all are very challenges, because the culture here, it was that any service you have to give, it is not to be a virtual. The culture is already developed. But during the pandemic times, the culture has been changed. Earlier, we have tried our level best to make the new culture about the virtual treatment, but that was not possible because of the acceptance of the doctors are not large. So today's the culture has been changed. These 1.5 years, it has changed a lot. Now doctors are saying that we need this stuff. We need this technology. And switching over from the virtual environments, it has not taken a much time for us. The infrastructure was in place, but the application has not been that extent to provide them this facility. So that's why during such period of times, we have developed in-housely applications and provided to them. And on the other hand, the customer, which is for us, it is a patients. Patients are not ready to take the virtual consultations, but right now they are ready to accept this one. This is the bridge this pandemic time which has given to us, that this technology they have accepted for us. But earlier we have a roadmap to how to roll out the IT activities in AIIMS, and that roadmap has been changed, and we have made a new roadmap that how to achieve the virtual environments within the AIIMS. During the pandemic time, all the things are on time. Our education systems, our research, our examination for the selecting the students to take the admissions, as well as the patient care services. Everything, it has gone parallelly without any interruption, because of the IT setup was already been in place. Second thing is that we have faced a challenge of that we have got a lot of hit from the hackers. And very carefully, we have replanned our security policies. And because all the things are virtual, people are working from home, people are working from, people are hitting from the outsides to enter to our databases, and all the information was retrieving by different peoples. So the policy at that time, we have changed a lot, and we did not face any type of misadventures by the hackers. So this is the things we have achieved during this period of time. Third thing is that we have placed a new technology, which is the AI based, which has helped us a lot, that to reduce the count in the hospitals. So which people can come physically and which people can do virtually. See, we get around 15,000 patients a day in regular basis. But in the virtual time, we have reduced it to it is about to be 700 patients physically, and rest of the patients, they can contact us through virtually. So we may not get 15,000 patients virtually as well as the physical appearance. Just it has reduced to 7,000 something because most of the patients are from the Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, so they do not have that kind of infrastructure to contact us. For that, we have introduced the telephonic services also, and some extent it has been extended. But definitely, the culture has been changed during the pandemic times that it is a place. We are the second citizen. The IT people are second citizens, and the primary citizen is the doctors and healthcare service provider. So in that cases, right now we are the first citizens and they are the second citizens. So what I will tell, this culture has been changed. Second thing is that they do not have belief on the automations, and that automations. We have placed two automations. The whole laboratory is totally automated and robotic labs, which have been introduced. And this is the SCS first labs in the country. It has been installed during the pandemic times. So that opportunity we have got it, that how AI play a major role in the automations in our institutes. Okay. This is my submissions and this is my observation on my part.
Wonderful. And we'll understand from Mr. Vijay Sethi, who is now Chairman Advisor of MentorKart. Before that, he has served Hero Motors into 3 different levels. I think CIO, CHRO, and also Chief Social Responsibility Officers. Okay. Now he is doing a different role as a MentorKart. I think it is something like more on it. I think you have to throw a light on it, Mr. Vijay. Whole industry is looking for it. What exactly Vijay is doing?
Okay, thank you, Deepak. So on the MentorKart first, so one of the things that each one of us really has as we grow in our lives is a huge experience. And the objective is, can we really use this experience to handhold somebody, to unlock the potential of somebody? That's what we are trying to do, whether for students, whether for startup entrepreneurs or for working professionals in the range of 5 to 7 years, 10 years experience, how we can mentor them, how we can ensure that they grow in their lives, and whatever we have learned in our lives, can we share our experiences with them, good, bad, ugly, all experience, so that they don't make the same mistakes that we would have made. So that's the thing that we are doing, and the hundreds and hundreds of mentees that we have. But coming back to your specific question that you had, Deepak, and I really like what Preeti and Sushil said. So let's talk about, you spoke the word transformation. Transformation to me means that you change the shape of somebody, or look of somebody, which means that a CIO, how the world looked at CIO maybe till 2, 3, 4, 5 years back, and the way people look at the corporates look at CIO is very different. And that's where the entire role has really transformed or is transforming depending on the organization. And one of the key things which really has changed over the last few years, and with COVID that will change even faster, is that the role of CIO is going beyond just the IT piece and getting more as a business strategist, more someone who's really helping drive the business. Because what COVID has really told organizations is that without IT, without technology, the business can't. You can't even survive without IT. So whether it is people working from Leh and Ladakh somewhere, or working from home or from anywhere else, technology has to be there, and that's the key thing. That so I'll just give maybe 1 or 2 simple examples as to how CIO can really start thinking, and how many of these guys are changing their role. So one of the business model trends, one of the trends that has happened a lot in today's world is something called ROPO, R-O-P-O. ROPO basically means that all of us as customers first do tons of research online, and then we purchase offline in case we are purchasing offline. Now think from a CIO perspective. the sales of that company now depends on how good is the online presence of that particular organization, whether it is in terms of a digital showroom, whether it is in terms of what you do on your mobile phone, whether it is on the chatbots, anything and everything, and how the products are being given on a 3D using AR, VR, whatever. So what is really happening is the CIO is actually helping the head of sales to ensure that the sales really happen. The CIO in case of AIIMS is really helping the doctors as to how the surgery would happen. Maybe they can use all the glasses and they can teach the students somewhere over there that this is what you need to do. Similarly, for all of the organizations, so that is where the role of CIO today is transforming from beyond just someone who's ensuring that the lights are kept on. That's what the word Preeti rightly used, that the CIO has gone way beyond, and that's the transformation that is happening. And the last piece I'll see is that says that over last 12 to 16 months in the COVID period, what we have seen is suddenly this transitions phase, the speed of this transformation has grown so high that a lot of times even CIOs are not able to cope up with this change. And that's a struggle many CIOs are also going through today, because suddenly anybody is looking at CIO to ensure that the business transforms and survives and grows.
Yes, you are right. So I think Dr. Rajeev's perception will be something different because he's meeting so many CIOs, so many organizations. Okay, Rajeev, can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. It's very interesting. I remember 90s when I went to US, and that was the first time I understood what a CIO is. In 90s, early 90s, I had not heard of CIOs in India, but these were the people keeping the lights on, really, more or less responsible to make sure that the systems functioned and they, as per the business requirements. And by end of 90s, they were more or less into looking into newer cost-effective technologies, ERPs to be considered for the organization, putting them in place. Cost cutting remained, one of the focus area. And every time I hear this, the CIO role is now, it's more or less obsolete. It just comes back with more force, with more impact. And that CIO, just like you were mentioning, Preeti madam is a CIO, a CDO, and so many CMOs. So that is what today a CIO is. It's become like equivalent to a CEO actually. In this digital world, if you see from information officer, it became an innovation officer in last decade, because last decade was more of innovation-driven decade. And one thing that I feel is very clear: CIOs now, as they stand today, they are supposed to lead the organization's growth, and that's why you see somewhere. In fact, my role also transformed from a CIO to CGO. It's become a chief growth officer. Now, what does that growth officer really mean? Is it only technology, or is it growing the business? Are they even different anymore? That's the real question. And look at what has changed. I was going through I was giving a lecture at UCLA the other day on digital transformation. And interestingly, while giving that, I put one case forward of Best Buy. Best Buy is a store in US, and what happened? This is like 2016. It was more or less going out of business because, rightly mentioned, as Vijay sir said, people come in, they look online, and they look offline, but ultimately they'll buy online because that's where the cheapest things are. So Best Buy faced this struggle in 2016. People used to walk into the store, have a look and feel of the stuff, and then go online and in front of them buy on Amazon. So that became a very big pain, and they were losing business left and right. So the CIO thought, what can I do? What is the business value that I carry? And I want to make, Deepak, I'm just taking 2 minutes more here because this is very important. It's all about business value that CIO has to think about. So this guy walks in and he thinks, okay, what value am I delivering? And he understands that people are coming in, looking at the product, and then buying online. So maybe my real value is showing them the product and keeping the store. So why don't I start charging people to come in? Like a ticket, if you want to walk in, you have to pay me because that's the value I'm delivering to you. And then suddenly you see that Amazon gives a 15-day return back. So you can have it for 15 days and return it back. So where does this business go? And then the CIO really thinks that who will get the biggest problem if tomorrow I go out of business? And then he comes to the wisdom that Apple has so many stores over US, but what will happen to Samsung if I close down tomorrow? Samsung is selling because of my experience center. So he goes back to Samsung. He understands that, my real value is what I'm delivering to Samsung, not to customers. So he tells Samsung, CEO of Samsung, that, look, I'm going to close all my stores tomorrow because I'm going out of business. If you want to continue, either you open stores across US like Apple, or what you do is you pay rent to me and open your experience center within Best Buy and also pay commission. That's where he banged it, and suddenly Best Buy changed. So the point I was trying to make is that CIO basically is no more just an IT guy. He's the person who understands what value the business is delivering and to whom it is delivering. That's the world we are in today.
You have rightly said, Rajeev, like transformation journey of CIO to CEO is quite possible by adding another head to the CIO, that is Chief Investment Officer.
Yes.
It has to be ROI driven. So going forward, the next question we started, how do you define accelerating digital transformation strategy as per your company policy and practices? Over to Preeti. Preeti, you are mute. You are in mute.
Yes. So, so as far as digital transformation is concerned, as we were talking some time back, although we have been doing our digital transformation journey from the past few years in a very dedicated way. It's been 5 years that I'm working with NEC, but the pace what we have picked up right now is extremely, extremely high. So since everything is working offline, so sometime back we used to say that for financial audits, we need to submit the papers physically, and only digital papers are not going to work. So we have moved away from that policy. So now everything, whatever financial reimbursements are happening, whatever financial transactions are happening, everything is online. NEC, at NEC, we deal with a lot of third-party vendors, and where the vendor ecosystem is extremely, extremely vast. So we did not have the automation for that vendor onboarding, their performance management, their invoice management, and all those things. Although we had the SAP ERP, but all these things we were doing outside the SAP. So within a very short span of time, we had to do end-to-end automation. Otherwise, we were not able to manage the relationships and the kind of work what we are doing with our vendors. There were a lot of internal financial processes which we were doing manually, although SAP was there and different kind of systems were there. But still, the day-to-day cash flow management, the bid management, and the dashboards to the CFO, that how cash flow is doing, I think that problem never arise that, okay, we need to have a very close look at the cash flow, at the revenue flow, at the outstandings and all those things. The kind of requirements from dashboarding point of view, the executive level of dashboards, what has emerged, I think that is really, really giving us the challenge to make sure that within a very short span of time, we need to use the different kind of technologies, Power BI and other Power Automate and all that, to make sure that everyone has the executive level dashboard available to them. So it's not only automation, there are multiple factors which are coming into the process improvisation, because automation without process improvisation is not going to help out. Where AI ML can be used, where bots can play the role. So process improvisation, that also we have to make sure, because being the digital officer, it is our responsibility to guide our business users that if what all needs to be done at the process improvisation level. It's not like this, that whatever process is going on, we can pick up and just automate that. You are not going to get the ROI of that. So that education and that discussion also we are getting into. So process improvisation, implementation, and also the dashboarding at every level. The kind of responsibilities, I would say, suddenly has increased a lot at every level. We at IT CIOs, we are saying that we have high workload, but I think each and every member, every leader is saying that we have very, very high workload. So the all eyes are on our CIOs and digital officers to make sure that how we are able to decrease and manage their workload by automating the things, by giving them the access to different kind of dashboards, so that on a click, the information is available to them. So that these are the challenges what we are facing, and these are the challenges how we are handling. So for this, now only my internal team was working on the digital journey. So now I have collaborated with various partners who are helping me out in this digital journey. We, within a very short span of time, we have enhanced our onboarding experience a lot. I'm sure that everyone must be facing this problem. Attrition is no-brainer, that everyone is facing the attrition. Everyone is facing the challenges when new joiner is coming, how to engage with them, because they are not coming to office, they don't see office, they don't meet their mates, they don't meet their managers, their view heads, but still we are supposed to engage them so that they don't get absconded and they get the feel of joining the MNC. For that, in a very innovative ways, we have brought up our online onboarding portal, where we are trying to engage our new joiners so that even if they do not interact with people, they are able to see what organization is, what business unit is, what their managers are, what their organization is, what their leader's vision is, what our code of values are. So in our organization, and I think it must be happening with all others as well, once people come in, there are a lot of things what they need to know from policies point of view, from know-how point of view, what all NEC does, how NEC does, the code of values, the do's and don'ts, and all those things. So initially last year, we were facing these challenges, that how to make sure that our new joiners are well equipped, which we have handled now. So this is also a very big learning for me. Another major thing what we have been doing is that since NEC is very, very people-centric, we are not asking anyone to come to office, even to pick up their laptop. So we are supposed to provide all the services at all the employees' doorstep. So if we are sending the courier, at what stage courier is. So in the past few weeks, few months, we were facing a lot of challenges, that every view head, every leader was asking, oh, my person has got the laptop or not? Where is the email ID? What is happening? So all those things also we have automated, so that whenever you want to see whether my person has got the laptop or not, whether he has got email ID or not, you don't have to call up anyone, you don't have to talk to anyone, everything is online. So these are, whereas before pandemic, I never felt the need of these kind of digitization. So definitely all processes we are digitizing. In addition to the processes, these kind of new needs are also coming up.
Wonderful. So now I would like Sushil, if you can add, Dr. Sushil.
Transformation, it has started in AIIMS, it is about to be 90. But we are struggling that the culture has to be changed, and it takes a lot of time for us. And we have a IT strategy, approved documents, we are forcing the people to adopt it, but still we are facing the problems. But during the pandemic time, it is a lot of change we have got it. Already I have told you that we are working as a second citizen right now. We are in a first citizen for us. From the morning to round the clock in the day, everywhere our requirement is very high, and our availability is required always. Just one example I am giving to you. telemedicine has been introduced here in 1999. And Government of India has spent a lot of money, and they have introduced to us also that you promote this one in the country. But the acceptance level was very, very low. But right now, the acceptance level is much more. Everybody they are preferring that. Is it whether am I required to go to the hospital? No, it is not required. You have the facility, you can avail it through your internet. That's why we have developed a dashboard, and the patient can take appointments, whether he has to take the consultation on phone, or take the consultation on the telemedicine, or take the consultation on the doctor's dashboard. So when the doctors will come to your OPD time, he'll see that these are the patients who are remotely, they will log into him, and these are the patients they are physically meeting them. So in that cases, the infection levels that has been controlled because of you have reduced the crowd, and the system has played such a smart way that the first person is physical, the second person is virtual. So automatically the system will recognize that patient and make a call to the patients to connect, and the patient will be virtually connected. Doctors can see all his clinical reports and give the consultation on this. So this has been implemented, and which we have dreamed within next 10 years. But right now it has gone down to the less than 10 years. Even within a year, we have implemented this one. This is one thing. Second thing is that the budgeting issue. Earlier, we are facing a lot of budgeting issues. That we need this, this budget, this much of budget is required. But the priority was not IT in our organizations. Right now, the priority is our organizations. In my last meeting, they have told me, you did this. Yeah, we agree. That means we will provide you. But you give me the financial viability of your work and the requirements. That's all. Earlier, they are saying that we do not have the budget to give you. Right now, they are ready to give the budgets without much condition on it. So this is the changes which has changes from the top level decision makers. And second one is the service providers. So these sort of things we have got it here. Third things I have already told you also earlier. The automations, they do not have the vision to do it. Right now, the automations, they are encouraging us. They want to go more on automations. And that's why you see in the COVID times, a lot of blogs are coming, and all might be infected, highly infected in different viruses, even including COVID. But right now we have a system, it is fully robotic, it is not required to come contact with any blood except the bleeding time. The bleeding time we have to take personally. After that, all are totally automated, and it will be reported automatically, and patient can see their reports from their mobile when it will be reported within 2 hours giving the blood. Okay. So these are the things that has been changed during the pandemic time.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Sushil. And I would say, so Vijay, you might have seen, might have different experience in your MentorKart. So can you share your experience by understanding or communicating with hundreds of CIOs who are in the MentorKart?
See, Deepak, as you rightly said, the digital pace is really accelerating a lot. It's actually increasing at a pace which we never thought, and what even Dr. Sushil said, almost similar thing. So we have all read that famous WhatsApp joke which says that whatever CIOs, CEOs, and everybody couldn't do in IT for last 10 to 20 years, one COVID virus has done in last 1 year. So that's how the organizations have really changed the pace of digitization, and more importantly, the acceptance of digital. So the culture change, which used to be the resistance that a lot of people would not want to actually use digital, giving all sorts of illogical reasons. Now, those are the guys who are actually pushing CIOs to digitize more. And that's how it has changed. So what, if you really look at conceptually, the world is changing so fast, the technology is changing so fast, the expectations of customers are changing so fast. As a customer, I don't want to go to hospital, I don't want to go to a shop, I don't want to go anywhere. I want everything at my doorstep. I want to see any product, any activity, any action, maybe at 12 in the night or 7 in the morning at my own convenience. So what it really means is that the CIO has to ensure that the systems are geared up, and they are geared up at a pace which even the CIO had never imagined earlier. Earlier, they would do a project that runs into years, months, bahut zyada karna hai, okay, I'll do it in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But now people are expecting that, can you really deliver in one day? Can you deliver in this week itself? That is the pace of change which is really happening. The second thing is a mindset change which has come in the CIOs also, which is, I want to experiment a lot of stuff. And even if I fail fast, fail cheap, and move on and do the next thing and try to do something for the business, because he or she is getting so much support from the business, and of course so much push also from the business that please do these things early. So this entire mindset has really changed. And another thing is that since everybody is generally working remotely, so people do appreciate that technology is really helping them out, and that's where they want now to think of even 20 other things which they would have never wanted to be automated. They want IT to automate them. Last piece I'll say is, since there's also a talent shortage which is happening globally in all functions, forget IT for a minute, I'll keep IT aside for a minute, but there's a huge pressure on all other functions also, because whether it is sales guys, whether it's a research guy, whether it is production, supply chain, doctors, anybody. So there's an issue that manpower is not available. So what the leaders are wanting to do is that, can I really automate more and get same output with less number of people? And that's also pushing digitization, the pace of acceleration of digitization in a big way. So that is the change I see all over.
Okay, good, thanks. Dr. Rajeev, you want to add certain points?
You're on mute, right?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Totally agreed. We, things are changing in a exponential fashion. Go long back and you see, innovation in 1400, 1500. You see one innovation happening, maybe some printing press came up, and then for 200 years, there was no noise. Then suddenly something comes up, a telescope or a steam engine or something. And then again for 150, 200 years, nothing. That was the biggest innovation. Look at between 2020, 2000 and 2020. Every day there is an innovation. Everybody who wakes up innovates something. So the speed has become so exponential. In fact, I was just talking to registrar of Sandeep University before this call, and we were trying to make a course for these BTech students. It's amazing that, what they will study in first year, by the time they come out of college, it's obsolete. I mean, think about it. You go in thinking that I'll be a web developer, and you come out and the web world has gone to mobile or cloud, and suddenly that world has changed. Because we cannot think in an exponential manner. We are always a linear thought processing brain. From childhood, we have learned we'll go from first standard to second standard, second to third standard. We cannot live exponentially, but we have to start thinking exponentially. And CIOs, unless they start thinking on that pattern, and everybody has to, and we have to empower our teams to think in new ways. So what we have done is, and this came out of, I took my kid to one temple. And there were these prasad distribution coupons. So my child, he just passed 12th. So he was not ready to accept that paper coupon. Like, the first question that came to his mind was, why don't they have a face recognition system? Why are they giving me paper? Now that thought completely changed, that we are now trying to serve customers who are digital. And think about pacifiers, right? Bachcha rota tha, and we used to have pacifiers to, dal do muh mein, chup ho jayega. And where has that gone? It's suddenly over. Mobile dikha do, uspe cartoon dikha do, and he's happy. So the need has not changed. The need is still there. The child still cries. You have to pacify him, but the product is gone. So it is not the time of making products better or cheaper. It is the time of totally rethinking in a different way. And for that, you have to introduce this new generation in all the teams. Because if we try to think what new generation wants, it is not possible. So in all these, if you can introduce new things, which we have done in ESDS, so we keep on bringing this young blood, And they have a totally different mindset. We cannot even think what they can think, And then we have to build on top of that, because we need to remember that our customers are digital. The customer who grew up watching mobile to pacify himself, you cannot expect that he's going to buy products from us like a pacifier. So, we have wired them. We are actually wiring them. So internally, we have to change our mindsets.
How Alok, you like to share your experience, how your organization has undergone digital transformation?
So Deepak, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this panel discussion. So when pandemic hit last year, we had customers who were at different stages of digital transformation. And some of them had a very strong and clear digital strategy, which enabled their organizations to respond with solutions and products that customers wanted. For example, in case of construction, new ways of design and making that bring architects, engineers, fabricators, subcontractors, contractors, and owners to work together more seamlessly through process and technology. Now, from my perspective, Deepak, there are 4 key steps that organization needs to take in order to successfully undergo digital transformation. First, they have to think ahead and create a strategic digital roadmap that is integrated into their overall business plan. They should consider how digital technology can work as a competitive differentiator or by boosting productivity and improving their client relationship. The second one is to choose digital tools that integrate easily, whether it's linking a construction site to main office or having different stakeholders in the design, build, and make life cycle. For example, how do their internal teams, suppliers, and customers share ideas? Design teams are now expected to seek greater inputs upfront from different stakeholders and teams. So by creating a collaborative design environment, great ideas emerge as people are working together towards achieving a common purpose and goal. Third one, when we talk about digital transformation, is to effectively manage risk. Whenever you are challenging the status quo or planning any kind of transformation, there is an element of risk. So you need to effectively manage that risk. And finally, how do customers use data-connected products and services to strengthen their customer relationship? End of the day, all of us are in business because of our customers. Now, let me share a few examples of how our customers are adopting technology. The first example I would like to share is from a company called VK Architects and Engineers, which engaged BIM 360 design and saw 83% rise in their time saving, resulting into huge improvement in their productivity. The other example is from a company called BIM Graphics. They're using Autodesk design and construction software, and their architects and engineers are helping customers to visualize and deliver the design in digital collaborative way. So these are the few examples which I thought I would share with you when it comes out to digital transformation. Deepak?
So now we'll move on to another question, like COVID-19 has pushed companies over the technology tipping point. How has it transformed business forever? Preeti, can you throw some light on it?
So I think we have been discussing about this, that business has been transformed forever. The way Rajeev was also saying that everything has to be online. Right, so your digital presence is very, very important. The way sales used to happen, we all used to say that a face-to-face meeting is very important. And we were having our discussion with our president and CEO, and he was saying that, oh, we used to think that without face-to-face meeting, we can't close the deal. Whereas most of the deals nowadays, we are closing virtually. Right? So few of us, we used to take care of our website and the products, solutions, the information, what we have on the website. So that today we cannot afford to get obsolete. And I was talking to one of my customers last week. So everyone is talking about the business continuity. Till now, when we used to talk, people used to talk about business continuity in terms of network, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of building, in terms of security. Now people are emphasizing to talk about the BCP in terms of personnel as well. That if your one team member or project manager, that person gets sick, although we used to have these protocols, but now there is a lot of emphasis on these kind of protocols as well. People are asking us that what kind of wellness awareness programs you have, what kind of collaboration you have with different kind of hospitals and all those things to make sure that your people are safe, how you are treating your people, how you are serving your people. So these kind of things are also changing the business. So the way we used to do the business and the way we used to handle everything, so a lot of things are changing, a lot of different perspective is coming. Now, when our employees, they are working at client side, we are also even asking that, what about the safety protocols? So everyone wants to make sure that wherever their team is working, all the safety protocols are in place to make sure that people are safe. Whereas we never used to emphasize on these kind of safety protocols. So the way we used to work, definitely, I think that that is changing a lot.
You are absolutely correct.
In perspective of business, what is happening.
Yes, you are right. You are right. Absolutely right, Preeti. Dr. Sushil, you want to add some points to it? Dr. Sushil, you are in the mute.
The kind of transformations it has been done, you can't believe it. One example I can give you. During the COVID time, we have done a lot of entrance tests to take the admission in AIIMS. And the largest was, it is around 76,000 candidates in same time they have appeared. And virtually they have appeared. Computer-based test, we have done it. Each system has the video cameras, and we are watching remotely, and there is a tools we have used for AI tools. Something is going on, mischievous things. It has given to the alert to the supervisors, those who were seeing remotely. So this was the major success we have, which we have done remotely, all the tests, and result has been published, and we have got the right kind of candidates without any malpractice during the examinations. This is one of the success story in AIIMS, and that has been done in time. That is, the time is a bigger issue because the session has to start in time. Second thing is, the students, those who are appearing for the exam, the face recognition systems would have all been installed. And all the face recognition system, you can't believe it. It is more than 100%, I can tell, that it did not detect any suspicious candidates to appear in the exams. Third things, we have done the automations. The candidates, we have the candidates which around more than 1 lakh candidates, but 76,000 they have appeared for one test. I'm talking about it. In that cases, all the documents, it has been done. AI-based automation tools we have used, and all these things, it has given 100% to screening the patient certificates, student certificates, documentations without manual interventions. So these kind of things we have successfully implemented during this period of time. So this transformation, it is unbelievable. We never dream of it. And this time we have done it.
You're right.
This is my points to be summed.
Yeah, good. So, Mr. Vijay, can you throw some light on it?
See, what actually, if we look at COVID, what did COVID do to the IT and to the organizations? The reality is that it really exposed a lot of inefficiencies in the companies. It also exposed a lot of areas which were inadequate, if I can use that word. For example, the word that Preeti used in terms of business continuity. There would be thousands of companies which would have gotten a certification of 27001 and this and that based on the same business continuity plan. And when the rubber met the road, suddenly all those business continuity plans were zero. Similarly, for various other things, whether it is in terms of application development, whether it is in terms of infrastructure, whether it is in terms of supporting. So there's a lot of inadequacies which were suddenly exposed by COVID. So that's how I saw it. Then what really happened is that organizations somehow struggled for the first 2-3 months to put their act together, and then moved on and created a journey for their digital transformation, which really led to whatever stage we are in. Just to take one or two hypothetical examples. For example, not really hypothetical, but real examples. Said before March 20, the various organizations which are struggling even to get 2, 3, 4, 5% of their sales online. And they said, no, online sales will never happen. The customer will always come to a shop, retailer, dealership, whatever. And now, suddenly for 3 months, your entire 100% sales was online. What happened? It was the same customer. But are we then present over there? Are we really ready? And that's what COVID really exposed, that a lot of times what we thought that this was not being done because of the mindset of ecosystem or customers actually was an issue that we actually never went and did many of those things. And then companies really went. The last point I'll say is, where you say that whether this change is a permanent change or not, I personally think this change is going to be a permanent thing, because the word that initially, for example, Preeti said that we don't know people where they will work from. Dr. Sushil said that a lot of people now don't want to come to hospitals. Similarly, Rajeev said so many examples on how the mindset of people has changed. Now, this is difficult for anyone to go back to state that we were before March 20. And that is the permanent change. And that's where organizations now have to ensure that whatever changes they are doing in their companies, they are not piecemeal, they are not ad hoc, they are not short term, but they are part of a strategy that it really transforms the organization. That's what COVID has impacted, how I see the entire world.
Right. And I think Dr. Rajeev will have a different experience where they are into the data center business. So you said your difficult and tipping points. Rajeev, you have a different experience.
Yeah, it's not really a different experience. The outcome is still the same. What everybody mentioned here, it's changed for the good, and I also agree that we are not going to go back, because see, this kind of what we call the paradigm shift, it keeps on coming within few decades. You'll suddenly see a shift coming, like it happened from our desktops, a mainframe to the desktop systems, from there to web, from web to cloud. That's similarly what COVID has actually done is just expose the vulnerabilities. Very, very aptly said by Vijay said that it's just showing you the vulnerabilities, just showing you the mirror. It was always there actually. And what Preeti madam mentioned, like people are now looking at BCP, and I completely agree. In fact, when I used to explain them the difference between DR and BCP, nobody wanted a BCP. I'll give you a very, it's a funny example, but it's a sad situation. There was this RFP that I was working on, right? And someone was preparing this RFP, and they said that we want this clause in the RFP for DR. I said, that is for banks. That is not for you. You are talking about DR of your systems of a parking lot. Said, no, we want this clause. Okay. And I said, okay, let's do it. And the clause was, you'll be surprised with the clause. The clause was that your DC and DR data centers should be 400, 500 kilometers away in 2 seismic zones. And I said, why do you need 2 seismic zones? Said, because banking does this, other industries do that. I said, you understand that a bank head office in Mumbai can go down, but their system should be started because they have branches all over India. Okay. Now you are telling me that if a flood comes in Mumbai and the systems go down, you want the systems to start from Hyderabad, but the parking is still in Mumbai. So what will the DR do for you? So please understand that. So, that COVID-19 has really made people now thinking it's not for the sake of compliance. That part is over. We lived only for showing the compliance. 27,001, 27,017, we have everything. But today it has exposed that we really cannot afford to live like this. Every minute that we lose today, we are talking about millions and billions of dollars that we lose.
Yeah.
So that's what COVID has taught us.
Wonderful.
For sure, I think we are definitely not going back to what we call pre-pandemic era. There is a lot which is going to stay. All good best practices which are going to stay from this so-called COVID era. There was a time, Deepak, when I went to school, we were told that businesses have to be built which last. But now, looking at what happened over the last 1 year, you need to build businesses which are agile. So the recent experience has shown us how valuable digital solutions can be to maintain digital continuity during disruption, such as the COVID-19 outbreak. Because of COVID, the business timelines for digital transformations are accelerating. In the current environment, there is pressure to digitally transform faster than before. Businesses have to keep pace with ever-increasing changes in evolving, in our case, construction, manufacturing, and entertainment sector. So there was a study which was done, which looked at what is stopping organizations from experiencing the full benefit of digital transformation. Now, the most common stumbling block from that study was integrating digital project, which was 44%, which was how do you ensure new technologies are adopted throughout the business and just not in one or two departments. The other digital deadlock included creating a strategic roadmap for digital investment, which was like 43%. And the third one was finding metrics to measure digital success. It's again very, very important whenever you talk about transformation. You need to have very clearly defined success metrics. I'll give you an example of companies which are at different stages of digital transformation maturity. Constructions, for example, they see the potential benefit which they can drive from business transformation, but worldwide, the top three benefits which these companies are seeing is one is project management and performance, which is like around 20%. Second one is control of time and scheduling, and third is improving health and safety. Now, one of the ways companies are adopting digital solution is to deliver these benefits through something called BIM, which actually stands for Building Information Modeling. Now, BIM started as a plain geometrical 3D modeling. It has evolved over time. When we added a time scheduling component, it was called as 4D. You include cost component, it becomes 5D BIM modeling. And when you add sustainability, it becomes 6D. And as recent as last couple of years, we have added operations and maintenance, and now it's called 7D. So from 3D, it has come for the last few years, it has come to known as 7D. Now, with large sum of money that is being invested in the construction industry every day, construction firms and all stakeholders need effectively manage this whole digital transformation. Now, the three key business practices, Deepak, which for sure will stay post-pandemic, is work. First one is work from anywhere. Second one is to build businesses which are agile. And third is to invest in tools, in technology, which will lead to effective team collaboration. So that is what I think is going to stay even post-pandemic.
So now we have come into the final question, and you have to answer in the one sentence. Do you think CIO CTOs should use data-driven change management solution for business agility and growth? Starting with Mr. Sethi.
Absolutely, answer is yes, and especially in today's world when you have AI, ML, data from IoT sensors, everything, the CIOs have to first change their own mindset to get into a data-driven change management.
Thank you. Preeti, how do you say?
I agree with Vijay, sir. I think data plays a very, very important role. And in this time, data has started playing much more important role than before. So data-driven approach is extremely, extremely important. The sources of data, how to structure the data, how to save the data, how to manage the data, how to process the data. It's not like this that we just need to store the data, but we need to utilize the data. How past data is being utilized to make sure that we have meaningful information, meaningful dashboards, meaningful analysis.
Wonderful. Dr. Sushil.
I am 100% agree to this this answer. You see, earlier what it was the problem, there are two things are there. One is the regulatory. The data driven means the data has to be exposed or not, to whom it has to expose it. That regulatory was not there. Right now, many places it is in place. Okay, second thing was the infrastructure. Earlier, the infrastructure was the barrier, but right now, infrastructure is not a barrier. Third thing is the technology. You can't say that we do not have the technology. Technology is also in place. So definitely data, it play a major roles. From the data, we can get the information. From the informations, we'll get the intelligence, and from intelligence, it is going to the AI. So that's why this is a journey. That's why data is play a major role in the every organizations and every business.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Rajeev. Dr. Rajeev, you are in the mute.
Okay, I will just quote Dr. APJ Kalam. He had a very famous quote which said that, in future, we will have two types of nations, one with data and one with nuclear weapons. And the ones with nuclear weapons won't remain powerful anymore. That itself tells you the value of data. And in fact, we can ask a CIO, what is more important today, a data or a beta? They will try to protect the data. Beta, they can live in neighbor's house, but they will never give a mobile to their neighbor. So there has to be some value. And if you don't make value out of it, then we are just wasting it.
Wonderful. What a nice statement, data and beta. So, and we have a certain key takeaways from the discussions, what I could gather. Like business transformation is all about identifying techniques, new process and technologies that aren't used to their maximum capacity. It requires understanding about how alternate solutions can be applied to further gain market share, increase revenue and customer satisfaction, or reduce operating costs. Secondly, the pandemic forced many companies to take shortcuts and skip important steps in the transformation, planning, and adoption process. The initial sense of panic, urgency, energy worn off, and now these organizations are struggling with fatigue and burnout. Now it is a time to build solid foundation for your pandemic accelerated transformation. Thank you very much for joining the panel. I'd like to thank Preeti, Rajeev, Sushil, and Vijay and Alok for joining the wonderful panel discussion. You have been a good panelist in the discussion. Thank you so very much.
Thank you to all the panelists and Mr. Deepak for the wonderful session.